Although many people would love to make changes in their life, from changing a career to traveling or marrying or divorcing, not all of them are able to do it. In order to make a change, you need to be brave and determined. Some changes are harder to make than others. After reading my psychology book, this time I chose to challenge myself with a very difficult challenge. Back in 2011, when my story started, the war in Syria had begun, and I had a lot of stress in my life. I had to manage my stress. Things started to fall apart in my life. Even though I was a professional athlete and I loved my sport, I found that smoking helped me to release my stress. However, on March 31st, I accepted the challenge to change a behavior. Thinking about which behavior to change, I felt I had two changes that I needed to make. First, I wanted to quit smoking. Second, I wanted to get better at asking people for help. These two behaviors are connected in my mind. I'm the kind of person who was born to fight, and I feel weak if I ask someone to help me or if I share my sadness with someone. After reading through my psychology, I realized that it's normal to have this mood disorders, and it's normal to feel sad sometimes and feel down. It helps me more to understand that I'm not different. I'm just stressed. I like to keep the image of being a strong guy in people's mind and eyes. Those two behaviors are connected in my mind. So I am going to tell you what's happening to me in 14 days of my attempting to make the behavior change. I smoke about a packet a day. To try to stop, I first joined a Facebook group of people who are trying to quit. People share their ideas about how to quit smoking, their goals, the struggles they face. I decided to pay close attention to my behavior. I realized that I smoke more when I am drinking coffee, when I'm sad, and when I'm having free time. On the first day, when I had a craving for a cigarette, I decided to create a push-up challenge for my friends and MC contact. I thought if I could keep myself busy, physically active, it would help me. Also, every time I wanted a cigarette, I did 10 push-ups. For the first 4 days, I monitored the numbers of cigarettes that I smoked, and I noted when I had a craving. During this time, it was very difficult to ask for help, both for stopping smoking and for help in general. I asked my family to be patient with me. I also asked my brother to talk with me on the phone every day for 30 minutes to talk about life. It wasn't easy for me. On the 4th day, I was brave enough to ask my professors to submit my assignment late because of technical problems with my laptop. It was so hard for me to ask them because I was worried that they would think I was lazy or making an excuse. In the end, I didn't need the extension, but I was happy that I was brave enough to ask them for permission to submit something late. For the first 4 days, I was able to reduce my number of cigarettes to 11 or 12. On day 5th through 7th, my smoking actually increased. I had some stressful events in my life. Actually, I was working on a project which took me back in memory to days I don't want to remember anymore. Then I start thinking I cannot fight anxiety and stress by smoking. So on day 7th, I felt I could not ask anyone for help. I was thinking that everyone seems to having their own problems. I smoked more than a packet per day on those days. On the 8th days, however, I met with a friend and we went for a long walk outside. That helped me reduce my stress. We talked and we walked a lot that day. On that day, I smoked fewer cigarettes than I had on the 5th through the 7th. I thought if I ask for help from my friends, maybe they won't judge me. So on day 8, I felt like I had more courage to ask friends for help. I also shifted the time that I drank coffee. Instead of drinking it when I wake up, I waited to have coffee for 3 hours. That meant fewer cigarettes. I had only 7 to 8 cigarettes per day on days 8 to 14. During that time, I decided to keep going with my exercise plan, calling friends and asking my family for help. I reduced my number of cigarettes on those days. I also realized that I love to help others and maybe I should start accepting help too. I started to feel a little bit of compassion for myself. This is not an easy behavior to change. I started to realize that each one of us has a strength and weakness. Nowadays, I'm trying to share some concerns and seek some advice from others with less fear about them judging me. I'm trying to allow myself to be more vulnerable emotionally. Something that might help me in the near future with this goal is Ramadan, which started next Friday. As an observant Muslim, I cannot eat, drink, or smoke in daylight hours during this month. This spiritual practice will help me to reduce my smoking, inshallah.